pūrongo mo Daniel Bidois I roto I te ao ohanga. No tērā tau, a Bidois I whakawhiwhia ai ki tana tohu e te kuraka wanatanga o JFK I te whare wānanga o Harvard. I tēnei wā kei wiwi ia, o tira kei pari e mahi ana mā te uepu mahi ngātahi ki te whakawhanake ohanga. A hua pai nera mo te tamaiti I wehe kirihaunga I te kura I te wā e te kaumārima tau ana ia. A nei rā te pūrongo a Carmen Pārahi.
We should not tolerate having the high dropout rates that we have. We prioritise sports people over people who use their brain.
30-year-old economist Daniel Bidois from Ngāti Maniapoto has kept his priorities focused.
Late nights in the library, early mornings in the library, library. It means prioritising books over socialising.
Since 2002, Dan's achieved a Bachelor of Commerce Honours, Bachelor of Arts, and the most impressive to date, a Masters in Public Policy from the Harvard Kennedy School.
Many would just call you a geek.
That's not what I am.
You love economics, though.
I love economics, very passionate about it and about using economics to view the world and to approach and tackle tough problems.
So he's not a geek, and once you learn more about Daniel Bidois's past, it becomes clear he's a potential economic powerhouse.
Dropouts don't do well at university, so I had to sort of be an outlier there and prove that I could be an outlier and succeed. I was a pretty bad kid, fair to say.
A bad kid in a decile 10 school? Hard to believe, but it seems Daniel Bidois was the exception.
I was suspended twice from Howard College, once for stealing. I spent a lot of my time in detention here.
It's a frank and unexpected admission from an ambitious Ivy League man.
I became completely disengaged. I did not see myself as being somebody that could succeed in education, nor did the teachers around me, nor did my family upbringing, coming from a blue-collar family with no previous history of education or achievement. So I just slipped through the cracks. Good to see you, Herb. It's been a long time.
Yeah, no,
oh my God, look at you got grey hair.
Man.
Daniel dropped out of school into a butcher's apprenticeship when he was 15. Butcher Herb Hancock hasn't forgotten his young trainee.
So what do you think now that he's a Harvard University graduate?
Brilliant. I say I followed his career all along with his mum and everything, and so it's been brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
Just shows you what you can do, Daniel.
A bit of hard work and
Yeah.
I got a lot of value from this job, and it taught me a lot about just hard work. Herb's got a successful business here, and he's built it through his own hands.
Daniel believes small businesses are the backbone of the New Zealand economy.
Herb's a good example of somebody who's done very well just from having a skill and marketing it.
But not long after he started here, Daniel's trade aspirations were cut short.
It was very tough. He was very, very sick, very sick.
Daniel was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a malignant bone cancer that affects children.
They were going to amputate his leg, but I think about 3 weeks before that operation, our specialist, our surgeon, found a donor that fitted his femur. So he had that operation.
Daniel was given the all clear, but still has to have checkups every 5 years.
What I gained from the cancer experience was a realisation that life is short, and you can be here one day and gone the next. So if you really got to make something of the time that you have.
It spurred him into action, and he realised he needed to go back to school. Leah never imagined she'd watch her son graduate from Harvard University last year.
My heart was just about popping out. I was so proud of him. I couldn't believe that I was there in that beautiful establishment watching this Kiwi boy going up and receiving his Masters in Public Policy. It was a great moment for us.
Daniel credits his tenacity and ambition to his mum, an entrepreneur.
I think there's more to come from Dan, and I hope he comes back to New Zealand within a few years with lots of experience under his belt and can put it back into our country. That's what I'd like to see.
So what does The Economist, based in the OECD, the world's economic think tank in Paris, have to say about the Māori economy?
Put more money into making sure every Maori goes and gets a good education. We should not tolerate having the high dropout rates that we have.
What can Māori do to help themselves?
The first is over-investing in its people, and the second is over-investing in Maori entrepreneurship, Maori business. Instead of starting a lawnmower business, we're starting high-end educational programs or high-end Maori products that we can sell for quite a lot overseas. And that requires us to do two things. Firstly is to invest in skills development, and the second thing is to make sure that Māori have all the necessary resources they need to commercialise their businesses, make sure that there's finance available for these enterprises so that they can be scaled up and promoted abroad.
You mentioned there's some things that Māori should do and shouldn't do. What are they?
We prioritise sports people over people who use their brains, and I think that it's limiting the potential for Māori in Pacific because they have brains and they underutilise those brains. How can we promote more doctors and scientists and engineers and business people as opposed to people dropping out and seeking a rugby career?
Do you think iwi are doing enough to help their own tribal members?
It amazes me that we have millions of dollars being settled in these claims, yet only a couple of tens of thousands available for education purposes. And Māori and iwi Trust need to rethink that equation and think, well, maybe we should put a higher proportion of our claims receipts into educational purposes. So there's lots of opportunities to overinvest in education because that's really where the returns come is by investing in people. The only things that are holding us back are ourselves and our own limitations for what we think we're capable of doing.